Pensado's Place is brought to you by...
Our guest really knows the recipe for good black-eyed peas. We've got a promotion from Vintage King, information about the Indaba contest, all kinds of good stuff. Check your GPS. You're at the place. It's Pensado's Place.
That was a good one, Herb. Hey, guys, welcome back, welcome back. Feels like I never left. It feels like I've been gone a month. It's really cool to see you guys.
You had the pleasure of helping out a friend of the show.
Yeah, I went down to induct my friend Dylan Dresdo into the Hall of Fame down there at that school in Orlando.
At Full Sail.
At Full Sail. That was a lot of fun, and whew.
Congratulations to Dylan.
And I missed my plane.
And you did. You missed your plane shooting last week's show. But congratulations to Dylan.
I went to the Herb Trowick School of Tardiness.
Except
I learned well, my friend, from
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But congratulations to Dylan, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. What you been up to, Herbert?
Crazy week, all good stuff. I had I had to stop by Village Recorder, and I ended up having to practice restraint, because as I pulled up, T-Bone Burnett was walking out.
Oh, no.
And I almost did a movie roll across the hood, and I just wanted to grab him and say,
movie roll.
"You've got to do the show." But
let me talk to Will, because we can make an ITL about a movie roll across the hood.
We'll do that. But as I went through the rooms to my meeting, ran into a bunch of our friends, had a great conversation with Ed Cherney, who's just
Ed's the best.
A prince among guys. So, you know, good week, good stuff going on with us.
Village used to be like a Masonic temple or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all these little nooks and crannies and million staircases.
Great house, and boy, if it had an elevator, it'd be perfect. that's another
Man, what
story.
a classic place, though.
Yeah,
great sound.
Great records, great. And literally in every room was somebody great. It was
Well
cool.
run, very well run.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we get to the business at hand?
Let's do it, my friend.
So, hi guys, how are you? Welcome back. Of course, we're coming live from the Art Institute of California in LA.
Yes.
From our beautiful HD studio, which stands for? Ooh, last week. Herb and Dave. There you go. Last week you had a whole list.
I can't top last week, especially the last one.
And the responses that we got say that as well.
Oh, they weren't good?
They were good.
Do we have a job?
No. At any rate, as you've been doing, please look below me and get to the social media stuff, like and comment. We really appreciate that, and it really boosts shows like we've been able to bring to you with Rupert and Eve and other kinds of things. Yeah. Wonderful relationship. You know, our show is your show. We certainly appreciate that. Big hello to our Vintage King guys. They're doing something special. Let's tell them who's in the chat room. Drew Townsend's in the chat room, and as Dave looks up his VK Stump the Guy question.
You know what, I make these up, so I should know them. I had a way of saying it I liked. Other than repeatability, what are the sonic benefits of step attenuators as opposed to potentiometers, given the same good circuit design?
Well, shucks, good lordy.
Step attenuators have separate resistors, whereas potentiometers have a variable resistor, a pot potentiometer.
So we're going to add a little component to that, to our VK question.
Hold on, that was a good question.
It was a fantastic question. But what a lot of our viewers have talked to me about this week is that they want to get the answer to that. So
me too, that's why I asked them.
So stay tuned. We're gonna work out a situation where you can get the answer to that by going to our website. Let me get the details together and we'll get to that. The other thing that Vintage King is doing is very cool for you guys is they're doing a special deal for our viewers. So you'll get 25% off Vintage King brand cables for online orders. Now let's talk about cables for a second. I'll get you some more details. To talk about the importance of cables.
Cables are not sexy. There's something that they're just a pain in the ass to buy, but you gotta have good quality cables. I'm still using quality cables I bought 30 years ago for guitar cables, and they're still just as good. Inexpensive cables, sometimes the copper and various impurities in the copper oxidize and affects the quality. Soldering goes bad. So I'm not an advocate of the most expensive cables, but a good, solid quality cable like these, an investment in your future, and I highly recommend them.
So here's the details. If you're in the US, you'll get free shipping. The quality of this stuff is really good. It's not cheap stuff. It's what Dave's alluding to. You get a lifetime warranty. It comes with it. So what you want to do is spend your money properly. We're going to try to help you spend it properly, because if you have bad cables, you know what the problems are. Bunch of different kinds of cables, microphones, instrument cables, DB25 snakes, all kinds of stuff like that. So here's what you want to do. Get to vintageking.com/Pensado deals. So vintageking/Pensado deals. The promo code is Pensado Deal 1. All that information you can see on our website or see below me. Make sure you do that. So big hello to our Vintage King people, who, by the way, we're planning on some interesting things with those guys this year. Great guys. Also, the Pensado's Pose thing from our friend Avid, who we love. You guys have been tremendous. Now, this is the last week for the pose. We're not going to announce winners this week. We'll announce the final winners February 27th or so. As a matter of fact, we got a couple of pictures just to show you what you're doing. So make sure that you get those pictures in. You see them on the screen now. Oh, that's great. So
if these guys mixed as good as they do this, they'd be stars.
Just what we wish would happen. We keep telling people we got the most creative audience in the world. You guys are proving it. Get some more pictures in. Avid is loving this. Our audience is loving it.
I'm loving it.
And you know what? Dave and I are having a ball with it. So thank you so much for that support. Also, last thing our Indaba contest.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the good stuff. We have all the submissions in. It's to this EDM-style track titled Blades by the Maniac Agenda.
Great
Dave
track.
is sorting through things. Folks are sorting through things. You can still vote, even though it's closed. But so get involved, vote, get to that link that you see below me, vote on your favorite mix, see if your taste is better than Dave's.
While you're there, cruise around the Indaba website. There's a lot of great opportunities. It's Indaba Music.
Yeah.
Man, if I was a young cat starting out, that'd be where I'd spend a lot of time.
Absolutely. And last but not least, in classic Pensadian fashion, get involved in the community. It's a great community. We're going to do a lot more stuff with them. So get your taste in there. Let's see what happens. And we'll be announcing that very soon. Really quickly, before we go to ITL and you introduce that, quick shout out to Joey Ankra. I ran into his really beautiful and talented sister, who is a really incredible singer and a soap opera star, was a soap opera star in England, Holly Quinn Ankra. So he's a big fan of the show. Yeah, we just wanted to say hello. Took a picture. Also, we got this incredible, we get a lot of responses from you guys, and we can't do them all, but we got a letter from a guy named Victor Guidera, who just said some really incredible things about the show, the three of us. So Victor, shout out to you. It was really cool. And then the thing I told you about, Les July, who sent you the CD and thanked you in the credit. So we just want to acknowledge that. Very cool thing, Les, and we'll take care of you. Okay, business is done. Introduce an ITL. Let's get it popping.
Can I just real quick do something?
You can do whatever you want.
While I was down in Orlando, I hung out with the Nappy Roots. And Buffalo imparted a bit of wisdom to me that I thought was pretty important for our audience that I wanted to share with you. He said, and I quote, "If you want to really succeed in this business, you got to really get off your lazy ass, unless you're a toilet seat tester."
Okay. Thank you very much for that insight.
I thought that was the funniest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, apparently. So
okay, here comes the second funniest thing I've ever heard. This ITL, I think it's kind of cool. I'm trying to show you to think outside the normal uses of standard plugins, and like I say in the ITL, the sidechain detector circuit on a compressor is just great virgin territory to experiment with. So while you're watching, think of your own ways to do this. If you'll run it, please, Will. Hey, today I got something interesting for you. This is some stuff I use routinely. This is kind of a little intermediate level, maybe a beginner to intermediate. I think most of the beginners that watch the show are pretty smart. They're probably other websites intermediates. So just bragging on our guys. But what I wanted to show you was some sidechain, some uses for the sidechain on a compressor. The sidechain, having access to that is probably one of the coolest tools ever. It allows us to de-ess. It allows us to do a lot of different things. Now, get ready for some high-level graphics. Here's our signal coming in, blah, 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 blah. Now, this goes into the electronics of the compressor, blah, 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 blah. And these electronics kind of smooth it out. Now the electronics are dumb, so you take a little piece of the original audio and you feed that back into a circuit that controls this amplifier. So what I've done here, the brown track is the original signal. I just copied it, but I copied it without automation. The automation, as you can see right here, is turned off. So now I have access to the sidechain information. The sidechain is sometimes called the detector circuit. And so now I can control that. So if my vocal is moving up and down, it's going to make the circuitry in the amplifier part do different things. So if I can kind of control that and keep it within a certain range, I can kind of have the compressor not go as drastically up and down as it might normally, and then I can control, with setting my release time, I can control different elements of what the detector circuit is feeding to the amplifier section. Not the best explanation I've ever given about how compression works, but on Into the Layer, you know we've got a long tradition of having you do some homework, having you figure this stuff out yourself, and having you think of new ways to use this. So let's just jump right in and we'll explain it as we go along. I've been struggling trying to get a good A-B comparison so you guys can hear the differences. Just trust me, the differences are there, but if I pick one section, it's going to be a little different than another. So if I've got a big dynamic section, it might sound a little lower. If I've got low section, it might sound, it's going to be different. But just trust me, this does work. So let's start out with just the vocal without anything on it. So this top compressor here they're identical, and this guy here has no sidechain. This is just the vocal as we know it. Now this is Beautiful Liar, Casey again. Man, I love this girl.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
Pretty good. Okay, now what we're going to do is go to this compressor, side chaining it with bus 44. If you'll notice, this duplicate of this track is coming out bus 44, going into the side chain. So now I can control the volume of my side chain by controlling this volume here. You can do this with a bus and aux. And let's check out now what it sounds like.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
Not bad. In fact, see, this has got automation on it. Not much, but it's moving a little bit. Now the automation, I don't think the automation on this track is controlling the side chain, so I'm not even sure why I brought that up. But anyway, I took all the automation off of this because I didn't want that automation. You can actually get some neat things by leaving the automation on this guy. Now let's look and see what happens if we take a limiter and put a limiter on the side chain. Now if you notice, this limiter is controlling the information that we're letting the compressor get to control the output. So let's listen to it one more time without.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
Okay, now this is with it.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
It's a little louder, so it's going to sound a little better, but if you notice what's happening is that the moves the compressor is making, think of the compressor as like an automatic volume control, even though it's not. Think of it that way. The moves it's making are a little less drastic. Okay, now let's see what happens if we take an equalizer and take out all the low end information below 400 and all the top end above 600. Now watch.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
Without.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition.
You know what? Let's take a little section. It might be more instructive. Watch this.
Sign the petition, 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 sign the.
So it basically is reducing these frequencies a little more than it might other frequencies. Okay? Now, what would happen if we expand the information going into the sidechain? So now, if you notice, I've got this Renaissance compressor set to expand. So watch the blue here. When this goes up, it's sending louder information to the sidechain, which is going to make the compressor work a little harder. This, by the way, is my favorite.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
Pretty cool, huh? And then my absolute favorite is these two together.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition of everything you say is true.
Now let's take them out again and watch the meter again.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the...
He said I'ma loses a little bit of power, doesn't it? Okay, so let's just add this guy.
I'ma listen, like I always do.
This gives us a little more.
I'ma listen, like I always do. Sign the petition.
Anyway, play with that, man. You can do some cool stuff, you know. You can use it on vocals, you can use it on guitars, you can have the guitar track control a vocal track. You've heard of everybody talk about side chaining the bass in a lot of dance music. All you're doing is taking and putting the compressor on the bass, you're accessing the side chain, and then you're using the kick drum track on the side chain to control when the kick hits, the compressor pulls down the level of the bass. But you can do a lot of things. I think I told you a long time ago, you can actually delay, you can actually slide the track back, slide it ahead a little bit, like maybe a millisecond. And then you can manipulate the compressor, and you can let your attack time get a little longer. That gives you a certain kind of attack on the words, or you can slide the green track, you can slide that to the right or later by half a millisecond, quarter of a millisecond, and then that'll let the consonants come through a little more than the other stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do with this technique. It's just so much fun to do. So hope you guys got something out of this, and we'll see you soon.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. Take from it, study it, and read and learn. It is really our pleasure to welcome to the table a very diverse guy. You're going to find out a lot about him. You probably know him through some of his relationships with Printz Board, but it goes way beyond that. Welcome to our desk, Printz Board. Oh, got to do the pound.
In the building.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for coming, man.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was, but that's what he does. He's weird that way.
Man, Printz and I go so far back. I mean, I think he was using a mini moog back then.
Back in the day, huh?
No, we go way back.
I still have that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've mixed a lot of stuff with this guy, you guys, and so when I say he's got major gifts, I'm not exaggerating.
Sure.
Man, let's just jump right in. Every time I call you, PB, you're like New Zealand, or you're just all over the world, and there was a time when I had one phone number for you. Now I got like 20.
No, I'm down to 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I got rid of 2.
Cool.
But
streamlining.
Let's go to England for a minute. You were in Abbey Road, like for Don't Funk My Heart. You co-wrote that, co-produced it with Will, which is on. I guess at this point in time, that's the most successful Peas album yet, isn't it?
I think it was. Kind of rivals with the end, but that was when people were buying a few more CDs and purchasing. So yeah, I think it was.
Well, we'll talk about Where's the Love, because you co-everything that too. But what was it like working at Abbey Road on that? Did
it was cool. We actually moved out to London.
Will
to
loves
do the whole
Europe,
album.
doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, we all do, really. We moved out there and we stayed there for about 3 months to do the record. So we did it between like Abbey Road and Metropolis.
Oh, okay.
So you get chills going in there just knowing how much stuff has come out of there. And like on Don't Funk With My Heart, I used a Mellotron, and it was like actually pulling the tapes out and putting them in and
Describe.
let's try.
For like the teenagers in the audience, they don't know a mellotron, but it was the original synthesizer.
Yeah.
Tell them how it worked.
Pretty much, it's a series of tapes like back to back. So, say the C is a C where an actual player has recorded the C and they recorded it on the tape.
On a piece of tape that's looped.
Yeah, and then they record the C sharp, the D, all the notes, and then when you play, it's just actually playing a piece of the recording.
It's actually playing that
so the tape rolls, the tape
And
rolls
they're
around
notoriously always breaking down.
Right. Oh, they always break down.
But the sound must be
sound is sick.
It's like nothing else. It's like nothing else.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can mix a couple tapes together, and it's crazy. I love it.
I think somebody recently, was it Neil Avron?
I think it was Greg Wells.
Oh, Greg was using one while he was there. I bet Greg used the same one because it was at Abbey Road.
Probably did. Absolutely.
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
And being the world's worst songwriter, I'm like in awe of you guys, you know, because I get the finished result, and you know, you get a little cocky and you think, man, I can do this, you know, man, I can't even come close. Take me through your process, not the 5-minute process. You know, tell about the 5-minute video.
Oh yeah.
Herb, he
I
did.
saw it.
You saw it,
Of course, of course.
I love that. That was actual time too. I think it might have been 7 minutes.
Right.
But I love that.
And you didn't. I mean, you ain't lying. Pinky swear. I mean, you really made it up on the spot. I
Pinky
know
swear.
you. I know you can.
Yeah,
so.
pinky swear on the spot. I used to have this thing where I would take my my MPC with me everywhere on the road, and I would sit when we were in the lobby waiting for our hotel keys or whatever. I would just sit and do these exercises where I would take 10 to 15 minutes and try to put a full track together.
Oh, how interesting.
From whatever sounds I had in there. And then I took that to trying to develop a song in 30 minutes and got that down to 15. And then I figured, you know, when Propellerhead came to me and said, just do this thing, I was like, all right, I'll do a song in 10 minutes. And it ended up being like 7.
Wow. So that the exercise of conditioning yourself to do that, as you do that professionally and make living, has it made the process more streamlined for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes me not sit on an idea too long or try to harp on it and try to, well, this ain't working, let me keep, no. I know how to move forward. Okay, I got this, all right, moving forward. I could change that to 100 different things. But instead, I'm gonna stay solid with that one and move on to the next part.
I like your philosophy because I've known you, like we said, for a while. I like your philosophy. Use what you got and make a hit.
Right.
And if you got a lot of stuff, use a lot of stuff, make a hit. If you got one little virtual synth, use one synth. And you like the creativity to be at the forefront, so you don't even worry about presets. You just use the preset and you come back and tweak them later. Let me just get the idea down as fast and efficiently as possible. I love that.
Did I tell you that? Because that's exactly where I'm at.
Gotcha. Because you don't have anything without a song, right?
Right.
So you got to get the song for. Am I
That's
thinking
exactly
correctly?
how I believe.
Yeah. And evidenced by the success. Completely.
I mean,
correct.
Where's the Love? That whole thing was 15 minutes. Pretty much.
You put Where's the Love together in 15 minutes?
Not the orchestra and all that, but
yeah,
the core of it. It was me and Will, and we were about to go out to a club, and we're like, let's just write one more song, and right before we go out, and that was it.
I remember when Ron Fair played that for me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Man. So start me off like I know it doesn't take too much imagination, but pretend like I'm an idiot and I've never written a song. Start me off, okay? Like I don't have a drum machine, but where do I start? I want to start with the beat first.
I mean, it really depends on where you're coming from. I mean, say you're doing a song.
I want to write a big hit. A big will.i.am hit.
I mean, really, that's chords and a vocal. So it could be piano, vocal.
So you would
guitar,
start with the piano?
vocal. Sometimes. I mean, if you're talking about music of today, then if I'm talking about a club joint, I'm probably going to start with the drums first. But if I'm going to write for, Corinne Bailey Ray or something, I'm probably going to start with the chords.
So let's start with a club joint.
Okay.
I'm a slave to the clubs.
Yeah, slave to the club, baby.
So are you walking around with beats in your head, and then they're just waiting to come out the first chance you get, or when you sit down?
You know what I do is
Does it just come out?
Well, you know, they say to follow the success of the people before you, right? So what's that mean? You look at the songs that are successful, that are knocking in the club, and you just kind of, I do a Charlie Parker, like I ingest all of it, and then I forget it. So then I take that emotion, that energy that I got when I went out to the club and I saw the people and how they rocked out to the stuff, and then I just put that into a new joint. Like I'll play a kick drum, that sounds like it would be around that vein. Okay, this is, okay, this
But
pattern.
you're not really copying it, you're just kind of copying the feeling that it would
The feeling,
give you,
yeah.
and the emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we got a kick drum. What percentage does the sound of the kick drum influence the rest of the beat? It's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah, that's extremely important. I mean, it depends on the beat, if you have a bass or if you're just gonna go all 808s. You know that. So a tight kick, fat 808, or a tight kick, fat bass. Or you say, forget that, I'm just gonna go all 808.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, Trinidad James it.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's just a keyboard line, 808s and a clap, and you're good.
Yeah, it's true.
And your samples, like for example, your kick samples, I'm not gonna lie, I steal them from every record I know. So if you're out there and you've got a naked kick in the front of the song, it's mine, and it will be on a record that I like. So your samples, do you have a synthesizer you like, or like a program you like, or are you pinching stuff off of records too, or all the above?
Used to pinch records, now I don't.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many
Should I quit?
sound libraries. Yeah, you should.
Okay.
So many sound libraries and stuff out there. I mean, I probably have.
Is there
last
one
time I
you can
counted,
recommend?
No.
Okay.
Last time I counted, I had about 110,000 sounds.
Wow.
in my thing, and I'm like, oh my God.
So your ability to be spare and make those decisions is really helpful when you have all that resource, right?
Yeah.
Your ability to hone down and get to it, because
Exactly.
people drive themselves crazy sorting through things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And I bet you got them all memorized too. I know guys like you.
Yeah,
You guys just
the majority of
they
them.
just go straight to what they want. Okay, so I got my kick, I got my snare, maybe a hat
Or clap.
maybe a shaker. Now, is it time for the bass, or do I do chords before the bass and do the chords?
Club joint,
Yeah.
melody, single note, melody line.
Really?
Yeah.
Like sing me something like would be a melody line just off the top of your head that would work.
You know, anything with a bell or a.
I got okay.
Oh, sorry.
Shake it, baby, put it down, do it like you're gonna do. Shake it, baby, put it down, do it like you're gonna do.
Man, I think he broke his record. A song in what? Did you just make that up?
Yeah. I did.
He told me what
Publishing.
claps in the back before he came out, so I practiced my part. Right.
Yeah,
It's
son.
cool.
What was this, Herb? I mean,
Dancing is not a concept you would understand.
I can dance, man.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
I'm a good dancer.
Absolutely.
I love to dance. Okay, so then,
Got our melody.
so now we got our melody. We've got an outline of the chords. So now's the pads.
I mean, I don't
Pianos,
really have to go with a
keys.
pad.
Okay.
I mean, you can add the energy with percussive elements.
Okay.
Maybe an open hat when it goes to the chorus. Or, I mean, a lot of times what you do is you'll drop out the kick, do some sort of snare or clap pattern that models itself after the kick. You know, give the kick a break for a second. And then you do that for 4 bars, and then you drop back on that kick and the melody.
One of the things, PB, that I think is a gift that you have that not a lot of people have, among other things, is knowing when, 2 things, knowing when you're done and knowing when it's great. Like if I wrote Where Is the Love, I would have thrown it away because I don't know when I've done something good in terms of writing. Now, mixing I do most of the time. And but how do you get that ability to know when what you've done is good and when it's not good? Or do you just know do you believe your mama and just think they're all good and let the world sort it out?
They're pretty much all good. No, they're not all good.
But do you know which ones are? Did you know
just
Where's the
don't keep
Love was a
pushing.
hit?
Initially when we did it, we kind of did it thinking, oh, let's do a ringtone song. You know, that was at the beginning of the ringtone madness when the frog was out. But you don't always know. And to be honest, you know, that song for us, we thought, oh, this might be a little light. even though the subject matter was, it didn't have that like the hip hop like that we usually had.
Yeah.
So I think that was during our growth as songwriters and knowing actually what a hit song was. Now I just commit. You commit to the song, you put it down, you put a melody down. Okay, this is the song.
Do you check people's ears that you trust or writing partners that you trust, or you just follow your instinct?
Follow my instinct for the most part. I mean, I have a team, and I have to tell them the same thing.
Yeah.
Like when they're ready to throw away a beat or something, I'm like, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me hear it first.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, for example, on my album, I did what's probably going to be the first single. It's called Number One. And I did it with my writer.
It's pretty specific.
My songwriter, producer, Sleep D. He's part of my team. So we're down doing Kim.com's album. Yes, we can talk about that in a second. And he played that for me. And he's like, I don't know what to do with this. He's like, it's just, I don't know. I'm gonna toss it out. And I was like, let me just hear it for a couple seconds. I mean, and in 3 minutes, I had the hook. I went in there. I wrote it, and 60% of what I did freestyling on the mic is what's on the record now.
Wow.
And he was about to throw that away.
Yep. That's how it
It was like, you never know.
Never know.
You never know.
Yeah, also, though, I've been on several projects where you've come in, you weren't the main writer, you weren't the initial producer, but you came in and kind of tightened things up and finished things up, like the Cassie Davis record we did.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite records I've ever worked on. So that's another thing you do.
Yeah.
Well, Herb will bring the Kim.com thing up in a minute. Now, another thing you do is MD. You're the musical director for the Ps.
Yeah.
And God, that's got to be
A lot.
I've known Will forever, and I'm such a big fan of his, and I know how just like you, I know how gifted the cat really is.
Yeah.
But boy, he can change his mind a lot. I mean, is that?
Oh yeah.
At the last second.
And when you've got fireworks, lights, dancers, and everybody choreographed.
And that's your responsibility too, right?
Yes.
To make the music work.
Yeah.
People don't understand how tough a gig that is.
Oh, it's so tough. The synchronization, and like you said, when Will decides to freestyle and go off course, and then I have to tell the playback guy
through a headset.
Drummers. Yeah, I have 2 microphones set up, and I have a foot trigger so I can talk to just the in-ears, or I can sing. So, I'll have to hit that foot trigger, tell this guy doing the playback, tell the lighting people.
And you got singing parts to do at the
front
same
of house.
time.
Yeah, and play, mind you.
That's right. People don't understand. You're controlling a lot of people, and if it goes wrong, it's a train wreck.
Yeah, but he's got
train
the
wreck.
Personality for it, Herbie. I mean, look at him.
I love that.
get
I
it.
love that
I
multi.
get it. Well, and I was going to say,
And he writes a song while he's doing all that, like that new commercial,
well, what you're speaking to, which we talked about earlier, was just how diverse you are. So, started out as a trumpet player, came up from Columbus, Ohio, came out here producing
Great
now,
keyboard player.
writing hit records. You've toured the world. You've seen the scale. You're an artist. You have a deal through Ingrooves Fontana. You're an artist yourself. You've signed 5 acts. You got restaurants, bars. So the point really is that the question is
And he
all
endorses Valium.
on top of it.
Yeah.
All that diversity actually stimulates each creative process, I would think.
Right, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he'd be bored if he.
Yeah,
I
'cause you
think he'd
can't-
get bored real easy, wouldn't you?
I probably would.
Yeah. The energy, you've got to keep going.
I have that in me.
Yeah.
It's my mama's fault.
Yeah, absolutely. But it makes your stuff better, I bet. I bet
Yeah.
it makes, because you're always pushing.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
I feel like my job is never done. I have, there's always another song that I have to create. There's always another restaurant I have to open.
There you go. There you go. I think
You were serious about the restaurants?
yeah,
I didn't know you had
apps.
restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Even when we talked about the .com thing, the only relevant part of that to me is the fact that yourself or guys like Swiss Beats or whatever were looking outside the notion of just being creative people and
Right.
seeing how to be business people and protect creativity. And you went, investigated it, didn't make sense, you move on to the next thing, right? Just constantly moving.
It actually did make sense, just to be straight, because Kim is a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of got a bad rap with the whole mega upload world.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe just that he was a bit too visual, like, like ha ha ha, I'm on top of the world, I got it, you don't kind of vibe. You know, when I went down there, it was to pick his brain, to help him with his album, because he wanted to do an album with just songs he liked, and I actually learned a lot down there about
Down there
business.
being New
About
Zealand.
yeah. I was down there 8-9 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
helping and working. I was there when the raid and all that stuff
Were you
happened.
really? Oh,
yeah.
man, amazing.
But anyway, so he's a brilliant guy, and it definitely wasn't a mistake to go down there. You know, regardless of what the industry thinks.
No, I think that's true.
He loves the artists.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. He was developing Megabox. It's all for the artists, about the artists. Artists can get paid, all that.
And I think his reputation is now being healed.
Yeah.
Because as you pull back the onion, it wasn't quite what everybody thought.
Exactly.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think the point to our audience is push. Be diverse.
Push.
You know, don't get stuck in one box or one idiom. Go outside that.
On Fergie's record, you did like what, 5 songs, and you kind
Yeah.
of, if I remember correctly, you just kind of assembled and did the interludes and all that to that
Yeah.
record too. That's a really cool record. I love Polo's work on that record.
Yeah, that was good. I love doing that album. I mean, cause She's a Dream
Pedestal's a cool song.
and Pedestal, that was awesome. We did that in London.
Oh, you did?
Metropolis, yeah.
Was Fergie there?
Yeah, me
Oh,
and
the
Ferg.
whole, that's
It
cool.
was just me and her.
Oh,
And I love a little story about the album. I got a call from Ron Fair after I put it all together, and he's like, "Yo, where did you?" He's like, "We can't have samples on this album, but you can't do this because this and that and the other." And I said, "That's not a sample.
Right.
That's all me." Like it's like this kind of majestic trumpet horn interlude kind of thing that I was
oh, he
thinking,
didn't know you
okay.
played horn at that time.
I guess not. So it went before London Bridge, you know, because I was trying to give this like Queen kind of vibe. And he's like, "We can't have samples. Where did you get this from?" But I was like, "That's me. I did it."
Right. Oh, that's great.
It was awesome.
Was this before you did all the horn parts for Clapton and
Oh
and
yeah.
Sheryl Crow?
Yeah. I did that. I did Clapton probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and Cheryl.
Tee up your arm there, fellow man. It
Holy
is
cow!
batter's
Are
box
you sure
time.
time's up?
Yep.
Can I get confirmation of that from Will?
Let's roll it. The clock is running. You're
Oh,
just
Will
wasting time.
says, "Oh my gosh." Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, that wasn't very. Well, I don't know. That wasn't.
No.
Didn't
It's
show
good,
a lot of
man.
confidence.
Look at these muscles. I'm
Hey,
ready.
yoked up. He's back to
Boxing
doing push-ups and stuff.
Okay.
That's right. That's what I do too, actually.
Yeah,
Piano.
I love it. Kurzweil.
Ooh. Bass. I'll take synth or reel.
Moog Voyager.
Oh, that's cool. Strings. Synth, not live.
I was definitely gonna say live.
And you still can.
My show, my rules.
Sample Tank.
Oh. Yeah. Pads.
Albino.
I'll have to check that out. ALBINO.
Yep.
Roads. Old school roads.
I mean, 73.
The real one. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Suitcase.
Yeah. With suitcase, definitely.
Drum kit.
Ooh. I like the Black Beauty stuff. 65.
Oh, okay. Vocal mic under $1,500.
Under 1,500.
Or thereabouts if you.
Blue.
Okay, I like that company too. Your huh?
That was nice.
Your favorite island synthesizer?
Island
What you
synthesizer.
got to have on the island.
You know,
when
like
you-
if you're stranded on an island, you only
Yeah.
can take one synthesizer. What would it be?
Ooh, this is good too. Juno 106.
Oh wow! I have one of those. You know.
Yeah.
I've got the little remote.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. Your favorite virtual synth? Your go-to virtual synth? Oh, you know what? Let me rephrase. Hold on. Let me rephrase that question. What is your favorite creative virtual synth to start with? Like to start a song with?
I'd definitely say Massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
Well, Herbert,
Killed it.
he killed it,
Yeah,
man.
he did. And got a bunch of hits to prove
I threw him a $1,500 mic question. He didn't even
You
flinch.
threw a heater, right. He connected,
even flinch,
didn't
man.
change it. Well, let's keep it going. Why don't we go to our man Will Thompson in the corner office. William?
Young William.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys
William
doing?
with Marin.
You got some questions from our audience?
I sure do. I'll got some great ones on here on Justin TV. If everyone wants to join in the chat room for future reference, we're always on justin.tv/Pensado's Place. Join the chat room. Get your questions in. First one here is from Yev Bronsteven. Probably butchered that.
name.
Let's see here. Prince, if you found a preset for a prominent instrument that works perfectly in your song, would you be afraid to use it unchanged for fear of it being considered derivative?
Definitely not. I always do that, and we kind of covered it earlier. I like to use the natural synth, the presets that are there. They provide me with the ideas that I need, and it's like I don't want to spend as much time on sound design as I want to spend time on song design. Go back later and put camel space or something like that on top of it to change it and make it unique. But use the presets.
Nice.
Yeah, I once saw one of your bank statements. I think you're doing the right thing. Good question, Yev.
William?
Matthew Flanagan has a question. This is from Facebook. Do you prefer analog gear like synths, 808s, 909 drum machines, or do you prefer using more kind of current stuff like Reason, Ableton to get your sounds?
I go through periods. Like I'll go for a 2-3 month period where I'm like rocking Reason, and then I'll get that sound will be burnt for me. So then I'll go to outboard gear, and then I'll go back internally and use live Ableton or something like that. And I think that just keeps everything fresh and moving. The other thing I would say is that analog stuff usually tends to have like a bigger, fuller sound, and now that you have like Pro Tools, Logic and stuff giving you the 32-bit float, and you can go 48K, 88, whatever. You go with those bigger sample rates and stuff like that and use the analog gear, you can't really compare that sound. Like that sound is going to be the best you can get. So I mix it up a bit, but I would prefer to go analog with the higher sample rates if I had to choose.
And what are you sequencing with, the stock Pro Tools one?
Sequencing, I just put it in.
You just play everything, you don't sequence?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I hear it in my head. Sometimes I'll beatbox the beat and then just match the drums to the beat.
What does Will sequence with?
He does the same thing. It's kind of all over the place. Yeah.
That's
William?
pretty cool.
This one comes from Ton Tracks in the chat room. 2 questions for Prince. What are your ultimate goals as a music producer, and how do you want others to view your artistic abilities?
Wow. That dude needs to host a show. Those are good questions.
I would just say 2 words, Quincy Jones. And I say that for multiple reasons. I mean, he is a producer that everyone looks up to. And I put a little bit of Rick Rubin in there too, because I love Rick. But he's also a trumpet player. He came from a similar place.
That's right.
He likes the live element mixed with the programmed element, and it just makes sense to me. I would love to be revered as the same, in the same light as him. In my, at the end of it.
Love that.
Great question, great
Absolutely.
answer.
I got one more here from Ian Michael Fafard in the chat room for Prince. Do you ever just record a melody to a click track and add the beat later, or do you throw the beat on right away? What's your first steps in creating one of your songs?
Well, I have the ability to do it any way that needs to be done. If an artist comes in and says, oh, I have this melody, this idea, then I can take that, put it to a click track, and then add what's underneath it. If I'm in the shower and I come up with something, yeah, I'm gonna go in and put that vocal down first. So it really, however you throw it at me, I can deal with it and I can handle it. I think like if you're just saying which way should you should go with what comes out first.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The beat, the music, or the vocal.
And for you, you've had hits all those different ways too.
All different ways.
Two questions from my end. One, when does your record come out, and what should folks look for?
My album is going to be, I should have a single coming out in a month and a half.
Great.
And we're still battling if it's going to be the same one here and in Europe.
Okay.
There's 2 songs, Number One and Hey You.
Okay.
So that'll be released soon. The album will probably come into summer.
Okay.
Maybe September, October time.
Excited to hear this.
I'm
excited to hear it. We might have to come get a sneak preview. Can we get a sneak preview?
I've already got 5 of the songs.
Oh, damn. I'm coming with the pad later.
I'll sell you a couple.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got some, a few cool guests on it. One of my favorites is Slash. I have Slash on the song.
Saul Hudson.
Yeah.
That's his real name.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
I didn't know if you wanted to put that out there.
Too late. We can edit it.
You said anything, dude. When you say anything with Herb,
We got it.
So, yeah, I plan on putting that out. Like I said, singles coming up, album September, October. And I'm doing an iHeart thing with Clear Channel, iHeartRadio. And then I also have 5 artists that you mentioned earlier that I'm putting out like singles on.
Great.
Back to back, like probably after my second single, I have them coming.
Second question, which you've already answered. I'm just doing it for public
do it again.
disclosure, which is you're coming back and we're going to do more, correct?
Oh yeah, son.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about.
I like this. This isn't enough time. I need to
Well, that's why we got to have part 2, 3,
double
and
this
4.
up?
Yeah, absolutely.
went fast, didn't it?
Yeah.
We'll do the remix. So, what a pleasure, man. Printz, your contributions are one thing. Your vision, which tells our audience that's the way to think about music. Think about it holistically and where all you can go. Push the envelope.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Right? Pleasure,
Push it.
brother. Pleasure. Pleasure.
Thank you, PB.
Thanks.
I'll be on the phone with you.
David, wrap us up.
Oh, man. I've been waiting to talk to him for a while. He stays out of town so long. If you look at my phone records, I'm chewing one of Cindy's mints. Let me crush it up and get it down real quick. He's always so out of town. I just barely caught you this time, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Barely.
Barely. But thank you so much for coming by. It was a blast. And good to be back home. I've been out of town for a week. And you guys, it's been a blast. And we'll see you next week.